Hey, it's Webs here with a new Hearthstone video. This time we are going to be covering one of the classes that got a lot of buffs recently to it, most of which were actually reversions of nerfs that it actually got. Control Warrior. And what better way to actually control your opponent than by actually controlling their hand along with their board through cards like Theotar and Mutanus, or even using the Amalgam of the Deep in order to target a Gorlak Ravager, just so you can maybe, in theory, get additional Mutanus to wipe out your opponent's key cards from their hand, and also rely on all the different type of board clears Warrior has access to deal with all of the decks that are going wide now that Freeze Shaman doesn't really exist too much in the current meta game. Across the 20 games that I actually played with this deck, I had a 55% win rate, which was actually incredibly good, and I was actually pretty shocked by that. For the Mulligan guide of this deck, you are looking for cards that would act as early game removal tools or early game draw power, such as Slam, Bash, Conqueror's Banner, Frozen Buckler, Guard the Cities, Man the Cannon, or a Shield Shatter if you actually have access to a lot of armor gain early on. Rancor can actually also be really good if you know you're facing Imp Warlock in particular, because they all do have less than 2 HP and you can just board clear them really easily. Other cards to keep are things like Theotar, just so you can actually snipe a key card, as you'll see in some of these replays, and Brawl. Brawl just allows you to clear out the board without worrying about the HP pool of whatever you're trying to clear. So with that all being said, let's look at some games. Alright, time for a game against Hunter. Really depends on what the Hunter deck is. Brawl might be interesting to keep, but Shield Slam, we're probably just gonna fall back into the deck, getting the Axe instead, a little bit more draw power. Okay, we're 40 cards and they're 40 cards. There's Theotar, okay. Oh, Conqueror's Banner is interesting. Okay, so we don't draw any card. We don't draw another card. Come on. It's Questline Hunter. We have to draw at least one, right? Okay, so we can use the Axe to draw a card, I guess. We could also gain a little bit of armor. I think the Axe to draw a card, minimize the damage we take each turn, is probably better. Another Slam. Okay. Ravager. Ravager doesn't really do much. You don't technically need the slams, but I think putting down this taunt... Oh, gaining 10 armor is pretty nice, even if that is a dead top deck, though we are going to instantly draw it here, so it doesn't matter too much. Just trying to minimize the amount of damage that we're going to take while also clearing out their board and keep our armor up. What do we want to do here? They have 4 cards in hand. They're close to actually completing their quest line. We might actually just want to attack our hero, to be honest. Because we can put down Rokara next turn. Okay, so they do actually complete their questline reward. And they don't have enough mana to play it. Well, I mean, there's a high likelihood we're going to get the reward here, and then we become the questline hunter ourselves. Let's just give them, I don't know, Brawl? I'm not going to be playing too many minions. And I'm doubting that they're probably going to have any type of way to get their questline reward back. At this point, if I were them, I would have just gave up, to be honest. Let's use the questline reward and then slam the 5-4. Probably should have also slammed the 2-5, but oh well. Now we just have infinite armor gain each turn. It's very nice of them to actually give us a golden copy of the questline reward. Well, we can use Rikara here. Attack into their minion. I'm assuming that secret is probably going to be... Oh, I guess we could just attack phase 2. Or do nothing. Besides kill their minion. So it was Explosive Trap. We can just use our hero power, use a spell, use our hero power. We can just use another spell. Probably should have just kept that for a little bit later so we'd have more feel for our hero powers, but oh well. I'm curious of what they could actually do to actually still win the game. I guess in theory they could have a sire, but that would require them to have a lot of cards to actually randomly generate them minions. Okay, what do we want to do here? We can just ping face, use slam, ping face, use shield slam, ping face, attack face, and then pass the turn. If I was really greedy, I could probably use shield shatter there too, but oh well. Alright, now we're gonna probably ping face or they give up. Alright, time for a game against Druid. Getting rid of the Ravager might be fine. I'm gonna go with only keeping guard the city just because it's a good turn 2 play. 2 Lava Gorgers is not something I want to see yet, but oh well. I'm gonna put guard the city down. Okay, draw in our card. Shield Shatter, perfect top deck. Depending on what this actually is, I'd assume if it's actually Druid, they would have played something by now that would have given me a little bit more of a hint. Okay, so they're actually Rogue. You're going to draw 2. It's Tooth of Nefarian. Okay, so they didn't actually go that far. We could have used Theotar here just to try to steal something. I'm going to grab Mutanus here just to be safe. Grabbing 7 armor there. Stone Graveyard. That is a really frustrating card to see. And having a 1-drop null is really frustrating too. Rated Bone Spike. Please, overextend. Good thing I have 2 AoE board clears in hand. A 6/6. That's actually not as bad as I expected that was going to be. We can use Man the Cannons plus Shield Shatter to get rid of the 6/6 if we really feel like it. Or we could gain a little bit more armor, because I know we're going to be able to guarantee 7 more armor here, which means pretty sure they can't actually eat through all of that. Trying to be a little bit greedy with our board clears, because if we can prevent them from developing a board when they eat up all of their resources, we're good. Especially because we're at 60 plus HP right now. Not too worried about them being able to do 12 damage to us. Okay, so they unstealth their stealth minion. Card doesn't do anything yet. We can kill that minion, armor up, then pass the turn back. That does put the Shade in lethal range of a Shield Shatter, which we're guaranteed no matter what next turn. If we want to use it on just 1 minion, that is. Okay, so there's Edwin. They're going to use Gone Fish. I could stab. Tap, step. Well, we do have the Mutanus, so we could, in theory, grab it out of their hand. It also depends on what other cards they have in their hand. Okay, so they have two big minions. We're just going to put down Mutanus, see what we get. Let's go. We got Edwin. They only have a 5/5 and a 6/5. Sure, that's 11 damage, but we're still pretty good here. Okay, so they got additional preparations, which is a little bit annoying. They're just going to shuffle that into their deck. Play a backstab. I'm assuming they're probably going to be putting down the second Sinstone Graveyard here. A second Null for 5 or 1 mana. That's so frustrating to see. They're going to backstab their own minion. Preparation. Then they get what? Draka. Not technically what I thought it was going to be, but we do still have Frozen Bulker and a Shield Shatter, so we can just go face. Actually, we could do this too. And then just do 5 more face damage. And they probably lose next turn no matter what. We do have the Alexstrasza in hand. Get the Nefarian. Then they'll do 8 to us. And they give up. Alright, time for a game against Druid. Okay, Slam isn't bad to see here. Frozen Bulker isn't bad either. The Ravager is something that I kind of want to get rid of, but we do have enough other early game tools that we might just keep it anyways. Okay, so we could coin out one of the Guard the Cities just to put some board pressure on board, then pass turn back. Does give us a little bit of armor, and we can also use another one next turn. It's not like we have anything that we want to rush out anyways. Okay, they're probably going to draw Sire right there. Okay, so the Amalgam of the Depths doesn't really do us anything here. We can just use our hero power, I guess, and then pass the turn, kill their minion. Okay, they use Aquatic Form. Going to put down a Druid of the Reef. Oh, Ranker's pretty good. Depends on if this is Beast Druid or if it is Ramp Druid, to be honest, but either way, not really bad. Especially if they get a board full with Scales of Onyxia or even Flipper Friends. A heavy plate. I'm going to put down the Ravager. This will draw into Amalgam of the Deep, Ravager, and Mutanus. I actually did think about cutting one of the Avengers out of the deck, but I did want to have the additional chance of getting Mutanus. I know it's not necessarily the best to run 2, just for the fact that you're trying to find Mutanus and the 2 Amalgams, but in a 40 card deck, it's pretty nice to have 3 possibilities of actually getting the Mutanus out of the deck real quick. Okay, we can just put down one of the Ravagers to put it down and then trade in the heavy plate. Drawing into the second heavy plate, not what I wanted to see. Okay, they're going to put down Guff. Okay, Kazakus. You know what? I don't think Kazakus came up a single time when I was actually playing this deck. Well, no, it did. One game it did. Like, there were a bunch of possibilities of it happening. It just, most of the time, never did. Because I was winning usually through... Okay, there's a Scale of Onyxia. It could board clear us. Okay, so Brawl is what we're probably going to have to do here. We don't have enough mana to kill the last one, though, with a axe, which is a little bit sad. We can use a slam just to draw a card, I guess, too. And we can actually kill it with the Rush Murloc. There's Theotar. That's perfect for a top deck.
This must be the way.
You gotta be scrappy with scraps.
Well, we can use a Mutanus here, or we can use Theotar. If we use Theotar first, we can maybe... Oh, there's the Sire. I'm just gonna... give them Rancor. Doesn't really matter what we gave them there. That's one of the fastest decisions I've made in my life. We can trade that in, see what we get. Shield Slam, not bad. Kill the minion, draw another card. There's the second axe. I think next turn I'll actually just drop the Sire to drop the Sire instantly. Get it out of the hand so in case they do have a Theotar of their own, they can't steal it back. Or if they have Mutanus, they can't get plus 10 on the Mutanus.
You gotta be scrappy with scraps.
Alright, so they're going to draw a Devourer probably, because I'm assuming they're ramp at this point. As long as we don't put down too many minions, they can't eat everything up. Maybe I didn't put the Sire down next. Okay, so they're going to buff up everything in their hand. Yes, I think I Shield Shattered and then used Mutanus here, if I remember right. Let's get a Devourer out of their hand. There we go. Kill the 6-1. Then pass the turn. Okay, so they're going to summon 2 more, which gets them a 3-3. So Prince Renathal. Miracle Growth. Okay, so I think the proper play here is going to be put down Rakara, Shield Slam, and I think that gets rid of the 9-9, and then we can attack face. I really don't like keeping the Sire in hand for as long as I am, but I think this is the only way we can do it without worrying too much, and then we can just hero power. I think I was thinking a little bit about trying to use the shield block just to draw an additional card there, but putting 2 more damage to face is probably the best solution. So they burn a card. Seedsman's not going to do anything here. Okay, so 2 minions on board. We can just go face and then give them a taste of their own medicine with Sire and win the game. Alright, now that we're through the games, let's discuss my final thoughts of the deck. Overall, this deck performed incredibly well, way better than I originally had expected, mainly due to the fact that I had been hearing a lot of bad things about Warrior and Control Warrior in particular, but it turns out as the meta shifts towards more and more really low HP minions, as it seems to be in the form of Imp Warlock or Beast Druid, a deck like this can actually be incredibly powerful, especially because you can just shove in about like 8 AoE board clears that your opponent won't be able to deal with, and also have a bunch of other control tools that are actually really powerful, such as Theotar, which I stole quite a few people's key cards before they could actually play it and actually win the game, as seen in some of these replays. The one card that was actually a surprise MVP was Conqueror's Banner. You are running a lot of high cost cards, so when you face against aggro, Conqueror's Banner is actually most of the time going to draw you 3 cards, which is actually insane, especially early game. Though you could make an argument for running something else that isn't Conqueror's Banner, such as Brand, just so you can duplicate some of the very powerful battle cries in this deck. But I do like the additional draw power that a card like this actually gave me. So overall, I could easily recommend you trying out this deck, especially if you've been looking for something for Warrior and you don't want to play Questline Warrior and you're a big fan of Control. It's actually in a pretty good position, and I'm thinking this will probably be more and more relevant as time goes on when it comes to the set, and even if it doesn't get any additional buffs, which I kind of expect it to. Like always, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and until next time, bye-bye.